Hello everyone, I am Surabhi. Before getting started with the course, quickly take the pre-test. Hello everyone, I am Surabhi. Before getting started with the course, quickly take the pre-test. Hello everyone, welcome to the e-learning course on Power System Basics, Earthing. This e-learning course is divided into two modules. While Module 1 deals with the basics of earthing such as terminologies, what needs to be earthed, and the different types of earthing. Module 2 discusses about the design and application, considerations for different types of earthing, and the required specifications and dimensions. So, let's get started. Let me begin with a scenario. Do you know what happened this morning? One of my neighbors, Mr. Sharma, suffered an electric shock. His family members were really scared, but thankfully he was not hurt badly. The electrician was called, and after checking, do you know what he said? He said that there was a fault with the earthing wire for the electrical appliances in their home. Earthing wire? Yes, you heard it right, and that is what this course is all about. As an employee of Tata Steel, apart from metals, one thing that you closely work with is power systems. Therefore, for your safety, it is very important that you are aware of the various aspects of electrical or power systems. And one thing among those that you must know is earthing. This e-learning module will introduce you to the various concepts of earthing. Before we proceed, please note that the terms earthing and grounding are used interchangeably in the context of Tata Steel, and hence the same will be followed throughout the course. Take a look at the objectives of this module. By the end of this module, you will be able to define earthing system, describe the significance and purpose of earthing in power systems, define terminologies related to earthing, identify what needs to be earthed, explain the specifications of earth continuity conductor, describe the different types of earthing, differentiate between the types of neutral earthing. So let us begin with understanding what is earthing system. In an electrical installation, an earthing system connects specific parts of that installation with the earth's conductive surface for safety and functional purposes. The point of reference is the earth's conductive surface. The choice of earthing system can affect the safety and electromagnetic compatibility of the installation. Regulations for earthing systems vary considerably among countries, though many follow the recommendations of International Electrotechnical Commission. Regulations may identify special cases for earthing in mines, in patient care areas, or in hazardous areas of industrial plants. Okay, now that we have understood what is earthing system, let us understand why is it so important. Take a look. Earthing of an electrical installation is a very vital and sensitive item of work. The ultimate objective of earthing is to ensure safety from shock and fire hazards arising out of leakage. Therefore, the purpose of earthing is to protect the electrical systems and equipment against a rise in voltage beyond that for which the installation is not designed. Such increased voltage might occur as the result of lightning, contact of high voltage line, or breakage between windings of supply transformer. Earthing also limits the earth potential difference and thus prevents men and animals from getting electrocuted. It also enables fast location and isolation of earth faults and helps to eliminate electrical fire hazards. Let us move on to the next topic. We have learned about earthing system, its significance and purpose. Now it is important to learn the terminology associated with earthing. Click on each switch to learn about the terms. Earth. The proper connection between electrical installation system's wire conductor to the buried plate or pipe in the earth is known as earth. Earth head. When an electrical device, appliance, or wiring system is connected to the earth through earth electrode, it is known as earth head device or simply earth head. Solidly earth head. When an electrical device, appliance, or electrical installation is connected directly to the earth electrode through thick conductor without a fuse, circuit breaker, or resistance or impedance, is called solidly earth head. Earth electrode. When a conductor or conductive plate is buried in the earth for electrical earthing system, it is known to be earth electrode. Earth electrodes are in different shapes like conductive plate, conductive rod, metal water pipe, or any other conductor with low resistance. Earthing lead. The conductor wire or conductive strip connected between earth electrode and electrical installation system and devices is called earthing lead. Earth continuity conductor ECC. The conductor wire which is connected among different electrical devices and appliances like distribution board, different plugs and appliances, etc. In other words, the wire between earthing lead and electrical device or appliance is called earth continuity conductor. It may be in the shape of metal pipe, fully or partial, or cable metallic sheath or flexible wire. Sub-main earthing conductor, a wire connected between switchboard and distribution board, that is, the conductor is related to sub-main circuits. Earth resistance. This is the total resistance between earth electrode and earth in ohms. Earth resistance is the algebraic sum of the resistances of earth continuity conductor earthing lead, earth electrode and earth or soil. Touch potential. It is defined as potential difference between the fingers of a raised hand 2 meters from the ground touching a substation structure and the feet of the person. For instance, if the distance from ground is 2 meters, then the touch potential should be small, within 100 volts, so that the person does not get a shock even if the ground structure is carrying a fault current. Step voltage. Step voltage can be defined as the potential difference between 2 points on the Earth's surface, separated by a distance of one pace that will be assumed to be 1 meter in the direction of maximum potential difference. The potential should not be more than 100 volts. Alright, we have covered the basics and next we need to know what needs to be earthed. And here I need some help. So I have here with me Mayank, who is an electrical engineer and needless to say, he is well versed and is an expert in electrical concepts. Hello Mayank, welcome.
Hi Surbhi, how are you? And how is the course going?
I'm doing well and the course is also going good. But I need your help and expert advice on some of the concepts.
Sure, I'm ready to help.
Great. So Mayank, just to give you an overview, we have discussed about what is an earthing system and also the terminologies associated with earthing. Now tell us, how do we know what needs to be earthed in an electrical appliance or installation? How do we determine that?
Great question and a very important one. Let me explain. To answer your question, what is to be earthed? There are quite a few points to consider. Firstly, the neutrals of all power systems should be earthed, such as the neutral of one side of transformer of three-phase bank. As you can see in this image here, there are three phases and the neutral point is grounded. The neutral of three-phase four-wire system. This image shows three phases denoted by IA, IB and IC and neutral N. As you can see, the neutral is grounded denoted by the green line. Next, the middle conductor of two-phase, three-wire system.
Okay, let me guess here. In this image, these are two phases connected with three wires. And here the neutral is grounded. Am I correct, Mayank?
Absolutely, Surbhi. You got it right. However, this is not all. There are other considerations also.
Is it? Please go ahead.
Okay, next point is that the middle conductor of a DC wire system should be earthed at the source of supply only. As you can see here, this is the middle conductor and the neutral is connected.
Yes, got it.
Further, one side of each two-wire secondary winding of a transformer also needs to be earthed. Let us see how. As you can see in the diagram here, this is a single-phase supply with the neutral point grounded.
Understood. But is this all?
No, there is more. The earth terminals of each lightning arrestor should be earthed. As you can see here, one terminal is connected to the live line and the other terminal is connected to earth. Further, as you can see here in these diagrams, one side of the secondary of each current and potential transformer should be earthed. Apart from these, the frame of every generator, stationary motor, and as far as practicable, the portable motor and the metallic parts of transformer and any other apparatus used for regulating and controlling energy and all medium and high voltage energy consuming apparatus should be connected by two separate and distinct connections with earth.
Wow, there is so much to it. Unbelievable.
Wait, we are not done yet.
Is it? Please go ahead.
Sure, they are all metal casings or metallic coverings containing or protecting any electric supply line or apparatus, the armored of underground cable, the conduits of surface wiring, the metallic poles and tower of overhead lines, the guarding wires of overhead lines, and finally, the screen of coaxial cable.
All right, but Mayank, I can see that the cable has so many parts or layers. Aren't all of those connected?
You are right, but when we say screen of coaxial cable, it refers to the braided part that can be additionally connected to the ground. And yes, that was all.
That was quite a lot of important information. Thanks, Mayank, and be with us as we move on to next topic, Earth Continuity Conductor.
Sure, it will be a pleasure to help.
Welcome to the next topic on Earth Continuity Conductor. You all must be knowing what is an Earth Continuity Conductor or ECC, right? Just for a recap, it is a cable or conductor that connects all metallic parts of an installation. It is connected to the earthing lead at a connecting point. Is that correct, Mayank?
Absolutely, Surbhi.
Great. So, in this topic, we are discussing about the size of ECC. Please tell us about it.
Yes. So firstly, the size of ECC required is determined by consideration of voltage drop and temperature rise. It is recommended that under fault condition, the drop in ECC should not exceed 32 volts.
All right.
Further, the size of earth continuity conductor should not be less than half of the largest current carrying conductor, provided the minimum size of earth continuity conductor is not less than 1.5 mm square for copper and 2.5 mm square for aluminium, and it need not be greater than 70 mm square for copper and 120 mm square for aluminium. Regarding the size of galvanized iron and steel earth continuity conductor, they may be equal to the size of current carrying conductors. Further, the size of earth continuity conductor to be used along with aluminium current carrying conductor should be calculated on the basis of equivalent size of the copper current carrying conductor. Here, another point to remember is that, irrespective of the size or type of an electrically driven machine tool, the bed plate of the machine is earthed by means of a strip or conductor of not less than 6.5 mm square cross-sectional area if of copper, 10 mm square if of aluminium, and 16 mm square if of galvanized iron or steel.
I see. So, is there any capacity specified?
Yes, the earth connection should be capable of carrying a minimum current corresponding to 3.5 times the load rating of the fuse or 1.5 times the rating of circuit breaker as per IS, that is Indian Standard 3043-1987.
That was an important piece of information. Okay, let us continue to the next screen to learn further. So Mayank, in the previous screens, you mentioned the different dimensions of the earth continuity conductor for aluminium and copper wires. Are the dimensions based on any calculation or specifications?
Yes, Surabhi, you are right. Look at this table. It talks about the size of earth continuity conductor corresponding to the current carrying capacity of copper and equivalent aluminium conductor.
Oh, okay. This is great. Friends, if you want to download this table for reference, click the PDF icon below. So Mayank, how do we arrive at or determine these sizes?
Good question. The following equation is used for determining the size of the earth bars and conductors. For riveted joints, A is equal to 0.0054 I root T. In this formula, A is the cross-sectional area in mm square, I is the amount of current flow through the earth wire in amps, and T is the duration of current flow in seconds. Similarly, the formula for brazed joints is A is equal to 0.0044 I root T.
Is this formula applicable to all types of conductors?
No. Here it is important to note that the above formulae applies only to copper conductors. For aluminium and iron conductors, the size may be calculated on the basis of equivalent current carrying capacity.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Mayank. I know you have to rush now for a meeting.
Yes, Surabhi, but be free to let me know in case you need help with any other concepts further.
Sure, I will. Time now to move on to our next topic. the types of earthing. Basically, there are two types of earthing: system earthing and equipment earthing. Click on. In this topic, we will learn about the types of earthing. Basically, there are two types of earthing: system earthing and equipment earthing. Click on each tab to learn about them. System earthing. It is a term used for electrical connection of neutral conductor of a three-phase 4-wire system, middle conductor of a two-phase 3-wire system, one point of single-phase supply, or artificial point created by having earthing transformer in three-phase 3-wire system to general mass of Earth. As you can see, this image shows a star-delta transformer wherein the neutral point is earthed. The highlighted area indicates the neutral point that has been earthed. This is an example of system earthing. In this topic, we will discuss the advantages of neutral earthing. And I thought of them. Equipment earthing. This term refers to the electrical connection of non-current carrying metallic part of all live electrical equipments to general mass of Earth. As you can see in the diagram here, the body of the motor has been connected to the mass of the Earth. Another example is the image here, where you can see the wire connected to the body of the equipment is connected to the ground. In this topic, we will discuss the advantages of neutral earthing. And I thought it would be good if Mayank was here. So, he is here. Hello, Mayank.
Hi Surabhi, how is it going?
Good. We are now discussing the advantages of neutral earthing, and this topic seemed a little complex. So, I thought it would be good to have you.
No problem. Let us start.
Okay, so Mayank, one of the major advantages of neutral earthing is that arcing grounds are reduced.
Yes, absolutely.
Could you explain to us how?
Sure. So first you need to know that arcing ground phenomenon is prevalent in three-phase ungrounded neutral system.
Okay, so an ungrounded system is where the neutral is not connected to Earth.
Right, and that's why the neutral is said to be isolated in an ungrounded system. Now let us understand further with the help of this diagram. Say, there are three phases, phase A, phase B and phase C with the neutral here. It is important to know that the voltage between any phase and neutral is referred to as phase voltage. For example, phase A to neutral, phase B to neutral and phase C to neutral. Similarly, the voltage between two lines is called line voltage. For example, A to B, B to C or A to C. The charging current is denoted by IA, IB and IC. So as you can see, this is a normal condition where due to shunt capacitance, the charging current flows from line to ground. However, note that there is no current flow through the neutral since sum of three line currents is equal to 0. As I said, this is a normal scenario.
Okay.
So let us now consider that a line to ground fault has occurred near phase C. The charging current from A and B, that is IA and IB to the ground remains the same. The charging current is the summation of IA and IB. Now the fault current line IC connects directly to the ground and hence feeds a high magnitude of current. Because of increased current, capacitive current in IA and IB will increase and lead to arcing in these two capacitance.
That's interesting, but why is it called arcing?
Yes, so when the current flows like this or through an insulating medium, it forms an arc. Therefore, the name arcing phenomena.
I see. That was a whole lot, but I'm sure this is not the only advantage of earthing.
Right, Surbhi. Here are a few more advantages. The life of insulation is long due to prevention of voltage surge or sustained overvoltages. There is a stable neutral point and earth fault relaying is relatively simple. Further, useful amount of earth fault current is available to operate earth fault relay. With neutral system, the overvoltage due to lightning are discharged to earth. By implying resistance or reactance in earth connection, the earth fault current can be controlled. Improved service reliability due to limitation of arcing grounds and prevention of unnecessary tripping of circuit breakers. Greater safety to personnel and equipment due to operation of fuses or relay on earth fault. Life of equipment, machines and installation is improved due to limitation of voltage, hence overall economical.
That was great. Thank you once again, Mayank.
Anytime, Surbhi. Okay, bye for now. We'll catch up again later.
Sure. Well, that was a lot of information and there is a lot more to cover. So moving on, let us now discuss about the different types of neutral earthing. There are 5 types of neutral earthing, namely solid earthing, resistance earthing, reactance earthing, earthing through neutral earthing transformer, artificial earthing using tertiary transformer. Let us look at each of them in detail. Let us begin with solid earthing. Solid earthing is one of the most commonly used system arrangement. In this type of grounding, the star point is directly connected to the ground as you can see in the diagram here. Solid earthing has many advantages. Firstly, in this type, fault current completely nullifies the effect of capacitance current. Hence, there is no arcing ground. Heavy fault current permits the use of discriminative protective gear. Also, the size and cost of transformer is reduced as less insulation is required when neutral is earthed. However, solid earthing has its disadvantages as well. Let's take a look. The first disadvantage is that heavy fault current results in greater interference to neighboring communication circuit. Further, heavy fault current may damage breaker. Another disadvantage is that for this system, high rupturing capacity and high-speed breaker is required. Let us move on to learn about resistance earthing. In resistance earthing, the neutral point is connected to the ground by using a resistor. As you can see in this image, the winding here denotes the resistor. The impedance of neutral resistance is denoted by the formula V square by N times kilowatt ampere kVA into 1000. Here V is the supply voltage and N is the relay setting and kVA is the kVA rating of the system. Let us look at the advantages of resistance earthing. In resistance earthing, fault current is reduced. This type of system requires a low rupturing capacity breaker. Let us take a look at the disadvantages now. In this system, the neutral point is displaced during earth fault. The cost of transformer increases as graded insulation towards neutral cannot be used. Further, provision of resistor involves extra investment and it requires more maintenance. Let us move on to the next screen. Moving on to the next type, we have reactance earthing. In reactance earthing, the neutral point is connected to the ground by an impedance which is highly inductive, as you can see in this diagram. This method is mostly used where the charging current is high, such as in capacitor bank, and line reactors used for voltage control of transmission lines, etc. Reactance earthing ensures satisfactory relaying of current and partial grading of apparatus insulation. It also ensures that there is reduced interference to communication circuit and further that the X by R ratio is equal to 3. Please note that in reactance earthing, X by R ratio refers to the amount of reactance denoted by X divided by the amount of resistance R. The next type of earthing is voltage transformer earthing. In this method of earthing, the primary of a single phase is connected between the neutral and the earth. The secondary of the step-down voltage transformer is connected to a low resistance value resistor. Let us now look at the advantages of this system. The transient over voltage owing to switches and arcing ground are reduced because voltage transformer provides extremely high reactance to earth path. Next, neutral is earthed through voltage transformer and thus its operation characteristics are similar to an isolated neutral system. Well, this was about voltage transformer. Let us now learn about the features of artificial earthing. Here is the diagram of an earthing transformer with zigzag configuration. You can also see the transformer winding. It is a core type of transformer having 3 limbs where each limb accommodates 2 equally spaced windings. In this system, as you can see, the current in 2 halves of the winding on each limb are in opposite directions. The artificial neutral obtained from this zigzag transformer, also called earthing transformer, is then earthed to provide artificial system earthing. Well, that was all about types of neutral earthing. We have covered a lot, and it's time now for a quick review activity. module. In this module, we have learned that in an electrical installation, an earthing system connects specific parts of that installation with the Earth's conductive surface for safety and functional purposes. Earth, earthed, solidly earthed, etc. are few of the terminologies used in the context of earthing. When considering what is to be earthed, it is important to earth the neutrals of all power systems. A few important of these are the neutral of one-off transformer secondary of three-phase bank, the neutral of three-phase four-wire system, the middle conductor of two-phase three-wire system. Middle conductor of a DC wire system should be earthed at the source of supply. One side of each two-wire secondary winding of a transformer also needs to be earthed. Earth terminals of each lightning arrestor. One side of the secondary of each current and potential transformer. Earth continuity conductor or ECC is a cable or conductor that connects all metallic parts of an installation. There are two types of earthing: system earthing and equipment earthing. The 5 types of neutral earthing are solid earthing, resistance earthing, reactance earthing, neutral earthing transformer, artificial earthing using tertiary transformer. Thank you for your time. Hope you enjoyed learning. Click next to take the post test.